Meghan has a big machine around her in the form of Netflix. She's also had, a big TV show in which to launch her product line. So it's very different to an individual starting making jam at their kitchen table.
And Netflix is the big one there, because that is the other element that I was going to raise. I'm glad you have, because do you think that these decisions are largely coming from Team Meghan, or do you think that Netflix would be a driving force behind the way that this is rolling out?
Well, again, we don't really know the structure of this business deal, do we? And whether Netflix are a more silent partner in the as-ever business, but it is, in collaboration with Love Meghan, because we see her making the products on With Love Meghan, and then you can buy them. Netflix have got this range of stores coming out where you can go and buy things that you've seen on shows on the streaming platform. But it is very different to a one-woman band trying to get a product from her kitchen table to scale. Yeah. She does talk about the problems of that, but I think she has a lot of opportunity there.
I sort of agree with you, Sarah, except you've got to remember that when she first started, what was it, Riviera
American Riviera Orchard.
American Riviera. So they've had
R.I.P.
So that's gone. They've had so she's had to rebrand. She's had to look at other things to do with it. So it's not been perfect. My view is that it is mainly, I would say, 90% Meghan who's running the show, because this is a woman who does not want to take orders from anybody.
I agree. She doesn't want to let go, and I guess she is putting her name to it. But yes, it has been chaotic. Whether or not that's the sort of thing you'd expect when you're launching any small business, it's just that this one is playing out in the public eye in a really
But that's
big
what she
way.
wants.
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
she wants it played out in the public eye, because that is one of the main ways that she has got to sell £10
And that's why they sell out in 45 minutes,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
There comes a point where enough is enough. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry once vowed to step back from royal duties, to seek independence, privacy, and peace. But what did we get instead? A brand built entirely on the very institution they claimed to escape. And now, once again, they're cashing in by piggybacking off the royal family. It's not just shameless, it's disgusting. Let's start with the latest stunt. Every new deal, every Netflix episode, every podcast somehow circles back to Buckingham Palace. The monarchy they say caused them pain is also the one paying their bills. Remove the royal link, and suddenly, the Sussex brand loses all sparkle. It's hypocrisy dressed up as independence. They told the world they wanted privacy. Yet, their fortune depends on exposing royal secrets. They said they wanted to be financially free and then signed multi-million-dollar contracts because of their titles. It's as if every public appearance, every exclusive interview, every charity visit needs to mention Duke and Duchess to make headlines. Without that, the cameras wouldn't roll. And here's the sad truth, the royals they constantly criticize still carry them. Prince William and King Charles remain silent, dignified, restrained, but that silence is the very backdrop Meghan and Harry exploit. The contrast makes them relevant. Without the monarchy's shadow, there's no spotlight left to stand in. Look at the patterns: Netflix, Spotify, book deals, docuseries. Every exclusive insight is just another retelling of royal pain. But here's the irony. The more they distance themselves from the crown, the more dependent they become on it. Their freedom comes with a royal logo attached. So yes, Meghan and Harry keep cashing in on the very family they left behind. They've turned grievance into gold, and every time they do, the royal legacy takes another hit. If this is independence, it's built on borrowed glory, and eventually, that well will run dry. They can change their postcode, their projects, even their tone, but they can't change the truth. Without the royal name, there is no Meghan and Harry brand.
Exactly, it's very rich Americans.
The issue is it doesn't seem that strategic, though, when it does change a lot, and the public perception is that it does appear a little chaotic. And further to that, Meghan's had a few projects now that haven't survived long past their infancy or season one, as was the case with the first podcast. Do you think that she really needs to be careful now to show that she's committing to this long term, and that's a reputational issue?
I don't think that she bothers about that much. About that, as far as she's concerned, she's there. I've got no objections to Meghan and Harry making money, none whatsoever. However they want to operate now is fine. It's their royal connections that really irritate me, and they're piggybacking off that a great deal. But I think Meghan is the one who's driving everything, and I think she will eventually come a cropper with all this. I mean, she says, I don't want to annoy the public. Well, why not? She's annoyed everybody else. You know, I mean, you know, she is a very annoying person, in my view.
But I do agree with Charles that it is in everyone's interest if she is able to make a success of this and make money off the back of this, because we know they've got a very expensive lifestyle, not least the security costs, and Prince Harry just having lost that Court of Appeal case. It is in everyone's interest, the royal family included, if they are able to be self-sufficient, if they're able to build a life. Prince Harry can do his philanthropy, Meghan can launch the business. Well, I mean, I think that suits everybody.
And if 5 years on from Megxit, you know, they wanted the financial independence. So exactly as you say, this is hopefully what's going to happen with this business. And moving on now to this bonus episode itself with Tina Knowles, it was a bit of a departure from earlier episodes in that it had a lot more showbiz flair to it. Of course, it's Beyonce's mum. Do we think that this is what we're going to see more of moving forward with Meghan's podcast, or do you think that this was just going out with a bang?
I think that's what Lemonader will be hoping for if there's a second series. And, of course, we don't know yet whether there is going to be a second series. But this was a bonus episode. The series had come to an end, and then we got this announcement that there was going to be this extra episode featuring, what did she call her? The mom...
The matriarch.
The matriarch and the mom mogul, I think she called Tina Knowles. And she made it very clear that Tina Knowles had picked up the phone to her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, I picked up on that.
Yes, and that you don't turn down a call like that. You pick up the phone and then you do this episode. Actually, I thought this was one of the most interesting episodes in the series, because Tina Knowles has a really, really interesting story to tell about launching her own hair care business, about going into business with her daughter Beyonce, about managing family businesses and the disagreements that come along the way. And as I was listening to that, I was thinking, ooh, the family firm and disagreements. And there was one particular line that stood out for me when Tina said, you know, of course we disagree as family, and when we're in business together and we're working together, there will be disagreements, but I don't let them kind of sit. I can't. I pick up the phone and I make up, because I don't want to miss that time. And I thought, oh, wow, OK. Because, you know, you're talking to someone who is no longer speaking to her father, and whose husband is no longer speaking to his father, and a lot of time is passing. It
really stood out because she used the phrase wasted time, and Meghan agreed and said, yes, it's wasted time.
Yes.
And at the end of that sentence, you think, surely, exactly as you've said, it felt pointed. Surely she had that reflection of, well, there's a lot of people around in our lives.
The thing about Tina Knowles is, you know, she's a very, very successful businesswoman, but it's her background, you know, coming up in, you know, in Texas when she was very young, where there was segregation and everything else. I mean, it is really fascinating story, and I'm hoping to get hold of the book that she's just done. And I think it was I don't know who rang who, whether it was Tina rang Meghan or Meghan rang Tina or whatever. Whoever it was, that was a very, very smart move to get someone like her on that podcast, you know, to talk about a whole variety of subjects. And I agree with Sarah, you know, that put down of, you know, I never let, you know, you've got to not have arguments within the family and everything else. And, I mean, that is a great put down. I bet she forgets that bit.
And I'm glad you touched on it then, because there have been reports previously that Meghan had struggled to get, you know, A-list names on her show and on the podcast. How important for her brand, Meghan moving forward and away from the royal connection, how important is it for her to get those names involved in what she's doing?
I think it's very, very important. I mean, when you look at a company in the UK called Warburton's, which makes bread, and they've had Samuel L. Jackson, Robert De Niro, you know, advertising their bread. Now, that is a lot of money. Now, she needs to get hold of A-list, really triple A-list celebrities on those podcasts to help sell that stuff that she's making.
And also people who want to be involved in their own right, not just because they're friends in Montecito with Meghan, because that has been my slight bugbear with this podcast. Sometimes you feel a bit excluded from the conversation as a listener, because there's an awful lot of gushing chat, there's a lot of praising of each other, there's a lot of talk about people that we don't know. In this episode, they were talking about, I think it was Yvette, who I think is Beyonce's PR or manager. They were talking about Tyler. Well, that's Tyler Perry, who, of course, helped Meghan and Harry and gave them a house when they first moved to California. But there's a lot of conversations about people they know and we don't know. And there's a lot of kind of matiness going on. I'd really love to see some of these guests being booked because they want to be a part of Meghan's podcast, because they believe in that brand, not just because they're trying to do each other favours.